The Galactic Combat Academy orbited 3 suns, a gleaming station where the galaxy's finest warriors trained alongside one another. Representatives from hundreds of species filled its corridors, towering Vraxians with their chitinous armor, lithe Selenites who moved like living shadows, and hulking Kortham whose muscles rippled beneath scaled skin. And then there were the humans. Hazel Martinez stood at 5'6", unremarkable by most galactic standards. Her brown hair was tied back in a practical ponytail, and her training uniform hung loose on her lean frame. To the other cadets, she looked fragile, breakable. James Chen, her training partner and fellow human, knew better. "All right, cadets," Commander Thexrol boomed, his 4 arms gesturing broadly across the training floor. The Kortham instructor's reputation preceded him. He'd trained champions from 17 different worlds. "Today we focus on leverage and momentum. Smaller opponents, you will learn to use physics as your weapon. Larger opponents, you will learn not to underestimate." A rippling laugh echoed from the Vraxian section. Krathos, a 7-foot warrior whose exoskeleton gleamed like polished obsidian, stepped forward. "Commander, surely you jest. What can these humans possibly teach us about combat? They have no natural armor, no claws, no venom sacs. They are prey animals playing at being predators." Hazel's jaw tightened, but she said nothing. James caught her eye and shook his head slightly. "Not yet." "Cadet Krathos," Thexral's voice dropped dangerously low. "You will demonstrate with the human female." The training mat was a marvel of technology. Energy-dampening fields prevented serious injury while still allowing full-contact sparring. Krathos stepped onto it with the confidence of someone who'd never truly been challenged. The mat's surface shimmered, adjusting to their weight distribution. Hazel walked to the center, her movements economical, efficient. "This is beneath me," Krathos clicked, his mandibles spreading in what passed for a Vraxian sneer. "I could crush her exoskeleton with one hand." "Humans don't have exoskeletons," Hazel said quietly, settling into a loose stance. "Even worse, just soft flesh and—" He didn't get to finish. He rushed forward, one massive claw reaching to simply push her aside, to demonstrate her weakness to the assembled cadets. Hazel moved. The push came. Contemptuous and casual. But she wasn't there to receive it. She'd shifted her weight, angled her body, and suddenly Krathos's own momentum was working against him. Her hands found purchase points on his carapace. Pressure points James knew she'd studied for weeks. The Vraxian's biology textbooks in the Academy library had become her favorite reading material. What happened next took less than 2 seconds. Hazel dropped her center of gravity, pivoted, and used the alien's own mass as a fulcrum. The leverage was perfect. The physics, undeniable. Krathos, all 300 pounds of armored warrior, went airborne. He hit the training mat with such force that the energy dampeners overloaded. The mat cracked. Actually cracked. Pieces of the supposedly indestructible training surface scattered across the floor. The entire gymnasium fell silent. Krathos lay in a crater of broken mat, his breathing labored, shock radiating from every compound eye. He'd been thrown through a surface designed to withstand antimatter explosions. "Humans," Hazel said, breathing only slightly harder, "are endurance predators. We don't have claws or armor because we don't need them. We have something better. We adapt. We learn. We figure out your weaknesses and we exploit them." She extended a hand to help him up. "And we've been doing it to everything on our planet for 200,000 years. Krathos stared at the offered hand, then at the destruction around him. Slowly, hesitantly, he took it. Commander Thexerol's mandibles spread in what James recognized as approval. "Cadet Martinez, explain your technique." "Sir, Vraxian exoskeletons are reinforced at the joints, but vulnerable to rotational force. Their center of gravity is high, and their nervous system has a 7-millisecond delay in processing unexpected directional changes. I used his momentum against him, targeted the weak points, and let physics do the rest. You studied my species, Krathos said, something like respect creeping into his translator's output. I studied everyone's species, Hazel replied. That's what humans do. James stepped forward, unable to suppress his grin. Commander, if I may, this is actually pretty typical for humanity. We've got nothing that makes us special physically. We're not the strongest, fastest, or toughest, but we're the best at one thing, figuring out how to beat what is. Thexeral nodded slowly, his forearms crossing. The galaxy learned this lesson once before, cadets. During the Salvation Wars, humanity had been spacefaring for barely a century. The consortium attacked Earth, expecting easy conquest. His eyes swept across the alien cadets. They lost 4 battle fleets, not because humans had better weapons, but because humans turned everything into a weapon. They weaponized asteroids, solar radiation, their own planet's gravity well. They learned consortium tactics in weeks and developed counters in days. Adaptability is our species' trait, Hazel added. Earth is a death world by galactic standards. Everything there evolved to kill everything else. Humans sat at the top not because we were the strongest, but because we were the smartest. We learned patterns, we made tools, we cooperated. Krathos pulled himself fully upright. Pieces of training mat falling from his carapace. I apologize, Cadet Martinez. I underestimated you. Most people do, she said with a slight smile. Once. The commander's voice boomed across the gymnasium. Let this be your lesson, cadets. In combat, assumptions kill. The smallest opponent may be the most dangerous, not despite their size, but because of what they've had to learn to survive. As the class dispersed to their training stations, James fell into step beside Hazel. Show off, he muttered. Says the guy who threw a Kortham last week. He asked me to. Sure he did. They both grinned. Around them, the other cadets gave them notably more space than before. Word would spread quickly. Humans were small, yes. Weak-looking, certainly. But they were survivors, adapters. And in a galaxy full of natural-born warriors, that made them the most dangerous of all. The training mat would be replaced by evening, but the lesson would last considerably longer.